Everybody, this is my first video that I am doing on the situation that's going on in the world today, mainly in our country with Donald Trump. Now, I have a lot of opinions. First, let me tell you a little about myself. I used to be, and I was raised as a Democrat. Our family always for years voted democratically. It wasn't until I grew up and I started really paying attention to what's going on in the world that I changed my opinion, and I'm hoping that after you hear me today, some of you will take a second look. I am now a conservative Republican, and let me tell you the reason why. The history of all the racism that I used to think was brought about by the Democrats was not. It was brought out by the Republicans. It was by the Democrats. All the Jim Crow laws. This goes way back to 1865. This was the year that slavery ended, and we were declared free, and it's when they assassinated President Lincoln. Well, the Democrats could not stand the fact that now black people were free. They could not stand the fact that blacks were now free and could be equal to them. So they made sure that there were laws put in place to stop us, and one of them was the Jim Crow law. Everything was separate. Black people had their place over here, whites had their place over there. You couldn't drink from the same fountain, couldn't go to the bathroom or whatever. Now, what happened was, after that took place, the Republicans could have come in and saved the day, but because they had just had a civil war and fought it, they were war weary and they didn't want to fight anymore, and they said, okay, you guys have it. You can do whatever you want. And so they allowed the Jim Crow laws to be enacted. That went on for 100 years, and it never stopped until 1964. What actually happened in 1865, what should have happened in 1965 should have happened in 1865. But we know that it didn't, because Martin Luther King had to come along and he had to fight the protest laws and everything. So everything goes back to the Democrats. The Democrats were very angry. They even had communities like Rosewood and Oklahoma City where they actually burned houses to the ground because blacks had become so successful and they could not stand this. All these are the Democrats, not the Republicans, the Democrats. So anyway, going on to today, we can see the situation has become worse. Now everyone is attacking Donald Trump. And my strong feelings are that people, especially African Americans, are not aware of the evils of the Democratic Party. I even had some family members say that all of this racism and everything that they're putting on the Republicans, they said, oh, the Democrats are good guys, and the racism switched back in the 60s. I said, that's a lie. It was never ever switched. The Democrats have always been like this since 1865 all the way up until today. And even President Johnson back in the 60s said he was going to make sure that African Americans kept voting Democratic for the next 200 years. This is how insane the Democrats are with their rhetoric. Now, back to Trump. I support him wholeheartedly. He's the only man or person who can actually drain this swamp. We need God's help, of course, because we can do nothing. It is so horrible. Every time I turn on the television, I can't even stand to watch it. Fox News was the only channel that I was really watching, and now they kicked off Bill O'Reilly, and they have some of the Trump haters on some of the early morning channels, and I just can't watch them either, because I said it's just like watching liberal lynching. So I don't deal with that. So it's the only way we're going to get the truth out is that people like myself and others who are actually seeing the evils that are being done can speak out. Now, I would encourage everyone to go to the Horn News. You can email or Google that and get it in your email box every day. They're keeping track on all these things that are coming on and coming out against Trump. They're trying to impeach this man. He hasn't even been in office 6 months, and they're ready to impeach him. What has he done? Absolutely nothing but expose the wicked Democrats for what they are. It's all satanic. All this goes back to the Bible. We know we're living in the last days, and these are the signs of the times when people, the scripture speaks about the waters. You know, waters represent people. They would be in turmoil. And that's exactly what we're seeing now. The people are restless. They're agitated. They're always out there in the street, and all this violence, all of this is coming about because of that. So I would encourage everyone to step back. If you don't know anything about politics, start looking at other channels and start getting your emails from the Horn News, because they really do tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but. And speaking of that, I actually was watching online today. It was on Facebook. Someone had sent about Denzel Washington. He was cornered on the red carpet, and they asked him a couple of questions about what his views on what's going on, and I loved his response. He said that if you don't watch the news, you are uninformed. He said if you do watch the news, you are misinformed. He said everything that's coming out is a bunch of BS. And to add to that, I would say that when they reduce, the mainstream media reduces their news to how many scoops of ice cream that Trump has eaten for lunch or whatever, and when everybody else has got one scoop, he gets two. This is the insanity of the left. And I'm praying that people, when you watch this video, you would take to heart, and I'm going to keep at it. This is my very first one, so I'm going to get better with it as time goes on. But I appreciate you watching this, and please share this. Thank you.